Improv saves, world agrees. Welcome, Alena, to Improv Saves, World Agrees, a podcast where we look at our improv journeys and how they line up with our actual life journeys, and whether or not one influences or has affected the other, or if after a while you start to see a difference between your improv life and your your real life. But that's the types of things that we like to talk about. And take a moment and state your name, and so we can hear your voice.
Hi, my name is Alena Dingeldein. I've been doing improv for about a year and a half, about 2 years, I would say. So I started about 2 years ago because it was just something that I felt like I wanted to do, because it looked like something fun to do. Because like within the first couple of weeks, it was like hard to get my foot in the cross. But after I got comfortable, I was like, okay, I can kind of let loose and be a little silly every now and then.
Yeah. What was that first thing that you signed up for? And how did that come to you? Where did you see it?
I was just looking up online what to see, and I saw like comedy improv classes, and I'm like, okay, I think that'll be a good start. So I just started there and just went all the way down to level 6.
Yeah, and I was honored enough to be a part of that journey a little bit, because I believe I had you for level 1. And had you had any like improv knowledge beforehand? Were there comedies that you liked that were improv style, or things?
I love watching comedies at all. In comedies in general, because especially shows like Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Yeah.
Because I just thought, like, dang, how did they come up with this stuff?
Yeah, and there's something just so electric and fascinating about that. And I had a similar thing when I was a kid watching Whose Line. It's like, how is that happening? I need to be a part of it. I didn't even know what was going on, but I just felt drawn to it in some way. It's awesome. But you signed up for a class, and like you said, a couple classes in before you start, the yes and spirit starts to catch up with us. But it does take a little bit of time, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It was definitely... There was definitely someone who would be like, I don't know if I want to do that, but let's just do it and see what happens.
Yeah, and I tell you, Alena, I'm encountering that over and over again in corporate settings that I'm in. When I go in and I introduce improv to people, like seeing so many times people just initially be resistant and being like, but then over the course of an hour, you see that thing that you were talking about taking a couple weeks. It can happen within the course of an hour, but it's just like, what is that point where you're able to sort of let yourself buy in to the spirit of improv? But once you do, a lot of other things become easier and possible. It's just something about getting over that hump.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It can be a pretty big hump for some people.
Yeah, it can be. And we try to create that environment to make it easier. And that invitation that we always like to talk about, improv is an invitation that we invite people into. Well, what were some of the things that were sort of drawing you in, or that you were enjoying? Sort of first thing you mentioned, just sort of the freedom of being able to be silly. Is that something that you found to be?
Yeah, it was. I think I can't quite remember. I would just try to at least stick to seeing as close as possible, because if we were like in a bar, I wouldn't make something completely made up, but I would just try to stick to the scene. But when I was trained, I would also think of ways like, okay, what could go wrong in this kind of scenario?
Right.
Because, like, say the bar, for example, like someone comes in and they're like really drunk and rowdy and loud.
No, but that's a great example, and especially from you, having been able to, again, I had the privilege of watching you as a player over a number of years in classes. You are so great at sort of locating yourself and taking in and being present and open to information that's in the scene. And so, like you said, you're in a bar, that's the location. Then you, Alena, in your head, you're going to a bar and you're starting to draw out all the details that are in that space. And you want to work with what's happening in the moment. You don't just want to throw crazy stuff in there, but then you also have these amazing jokes. You are so witty and so funny, but you're always using what's around you to make that happen.
Yeah. I think one particular scene, you might remember this one. I think this was on level 1, where I was like the manager of this candy shop, and like another player. This other player named Evan was like my employee, and we were like just doing our thing, and it was like, and he said something like, "Well, you pay me minimum wage. Like, how do you expect me to be grateful to work here?" And I was like, "Well, you get the employee discount."
You get the discount. Oh, it delights me so much that you brought that scene in particular up. I hold that scene very dear in my heart because, yeah, it's just the employee discount was like the greatest improv discovery in this moment. He threw this thing at you, and then all of a sudden you said, "Yep, that's true." And because that's true, there's got to be
people act because there's some managers who actually think that way.
Yes, they do, and and you took on the character as well as the information. It was just an electric moment for me that I've spoken of many times since. And interestingly enough, the gentleman you were in a scene with is a fairly successful stand-up comedian in the area and nationwide. And he was nothing against him, but he was trying more to be. He was making a joke in a moment, and you took his joke and you turned it around and made it make sense in the scene. And so, no knock on Evan. We love him very much.
Yeah, of course. He was great too.
He was great too, but you did great improvisational work to sort of bring that into place.
Yeah.
So you're doing level 1 and you go through all the 6, but then also at the same time you were working with Backlight Productions. What was some of the work you were doing with them?
Yeah. So Backlight Productions is an organization where they have like adults with special needs in like theater, and they have performed they have like theater classes. We put on like actual plays, like Broadway style plays, and there's a whole bunch of us. So yeah. We always had to like go in, rehearse. Then we also started with a comedy club. Yeah. And I was like, okay, I want to jump on that board. Yeah. And that was fun to do. And for those productions, and especially like for the comedy one, were you all utilizing improv in what you were doing? We were. I mean, Cause that was just the basis of our comedy club. It was basically improv, all these improv style games, and it was not like quite the whole full length improv scenes. We weren't writing like 5-minute scenes, but we were like take a topic and make something crazy, and okay, what would go with that? And see, this one game that I really liked was called like Good Advice, Bad Advice, Worse Advice. Yeah, and there would be like 3 people sitting in a seat, and one of the audience people would ask a question that they would say I can't get my dog to stop making accidents in the house. What do you expect us to do? Yeah. And like the first person would give like really good advice. The second person would give like pretty bad advice. Yeah. And the third person would be, so that's the worst advice you've ever heard. There was just one bit that I remember. We were doing a show, and we played this game, and I was in the worst seat. And one of the questions was, like, how do I merge on the highway? Uh-huh. Like, because, like, first person did their thing, second person did their thing, and I said, and another thing about this bit where we had to play like a character giving this kind of advice, and I was like a taxidermy named Carl. I was talking all like gruff and big like this. And then when it got to me, talking about merging, now I was like a taxidermist. And I'm like, oh boy. And said, my advice was, he said, all right, I'm going to tell you what I do on every single day in my line of work. Just stuff it. And just move on to just start scooching on the highway. Just slide right into that spot. And if they start honking you, give them one of those. And the whole audience just died. Like the whole room just burst out in laughter. That's and you were coming up with a catchphrase for Carl, almost like just stuff it, just stuff it, just stuff it, just stuff it. That's awesome. And what a wonderful example how we're finding our long form characters in our short form games as well. And doing these games, doing the exercises, and so going through improv classes, you're doing shows. Mm-hmm. How have you felt that you've grown as an improviser over this time? I feel like I'm good at picking up like more deep. I feel like I'm better at listening.
Yeah.
Like the more I do improv, because I'll like try to listen for like little cues, like okay, I can probably take this little thing and just try to use it later, because I've done a couple of scenes where I'll like someone will say something in one scene, and then later on down the line, I'll try to allude to that previous comment.
That's
Just, man, everybody likes a throwback.
Everybody likes a throwback, and that's a practical strategy that I often give people when I'm coaching their long forms. Is say that try to make it a priority to take something from the first scene that someone else is doing, even if you're not in that first scene. Try to take something from that first scene that you can like utilize in some sort of way and bring back around, however small it is. But try to pick up details from that first thing, and always start leaning in, listening first. And just the practice of it over time. Yeah, improv is just all about listening. And it just, I think I used to say this in class, if you remember me saying this, but I think of improv as a listening gymnasium. We go to improv to work on a listening elliptical and weight machine, like we would at Planet Fitness. And it just happens over time. Like you do find yourself better in life conversations as well, picking up on details and maybe bringing them back around. At least that's what I found in my experience.
Yeah, that's what I felt like after I, especially like in my real life, like I've noticed that I'm a little bit more confident when talking to people. Like I've actually, I think I've actually become a little more witty in my day to day life because I'll like someone will say something snarky at me and I'll say something like a little snarky back, and they'll start laughing like oh, but it also just makes me better at just talking in general.
I cannot get over the confidence level and boost that this art form has brought for me. But so speaking of that confidence level, and you yourself having gone through this improv journey, so with Mindful Nashville last June, correct? You put on an improv workshop. You yourself were introducing some people to improv.
I did. I was part of this workshop where we basically had to make our own like improv class. So I was starting to so we were starting to collect. So these whole three classes for all these classes for these 3 weeks were like okay, like what makes a good teacher, a good improviser, like how to understand that everybody is from a different perspective in life and they're gonna have different reactions to different prompts and those were a lot of things that I was just kind of taking in mind. That I was just starting to think like, okay, what's some games that I personally like, and what game would work in like group setting? What games am I good at explaining? Which sometimes could all be all different games, but
that is, I'm interested to know how your journey went with that. But walking people through improv games and getting people to yes and take that invitation. How was that for you? Did you experience people were ready to do it, or did you have to work a little bit?
I mean, I think the kind of demographic I was aiming for was kind of like the neurodivergent LGBT kind of sort of group, and I think a lot of them were kind of hesitant in trying to do it, but I was just kind of trying to encourage them, it's okay. This is a safe space. We can be a little crazy in here if you want to be.
And you get to set that tone for them. Like you get to be the person, you get to be silly to let them know that they can be silly. And what exercises did you and Unscripted and Brian Jones together in collaboration? And what kind of guidance was Brian given along the way finding those exercises?
I think he was. I mean, he was to tell me like, okay, think about what kind of game do you like to do, or what kind of games do you think other people would like to do? Like, what games do you feel comfortable leading? I would say, because there's a lot of improv games that I like participating, but I don't like leading it. What's a good example? I think it was like the alphabet game where you have to like try to find a word that matches the next letter.
Yeah.
And then we then go all the way down to Z. Sometimes I'll think of something and I'll be like, what?
And that is a good example of a game that's very easy to explain, but incredibly difficult to play for some reason. What were some of the successes or some of the hits? Yeah.
Well, well, we started with the name game, but we like say our names and say like do an action or an adjective, like I'm amazing Alena or something like that, and then so on and so forth, just to kind of get people kind of warmed up. And then we did character pass, which one I really love. And that seems what to put like the oil on the hinges to kind of let everybody get going.
The oil on the hinges to get everyone going. I always notice people, like it does something. It can kind of transform people in that space because people loosen up a bit when you all of a sudden have to perform something that you didn't think you were having to before. And then it comes by so fast and it's like, oh, I've already done it and I didn't think about it too much. And so that kind of gets people in the mindset of like, don't think about it too much. Just go with it.
Oh, they loved it. Yeah. I mean, I knew they would. I knew they would because with everybody being more neurodivergent, different neurotypes, it'd be like, okay, I think I'll pick a game that's that's easy to explain and easy to play. We did a couple of character scenes. There was this one where we were on a beach and I think I was like a talking shark, and I would just stand on this beach. And like one person was a lifeguard, another person were just beach patrons.
And character work, that's fun stuff. Like, so, with a neurodivergent demographic that you're working with, I know that like Character Pass is a game that whatever rhythm happens is good. I always find that that's a nice accommodating game because some games like require like a set thing, like we all have to follow the same pattern. But what's great about a game like Character Pass is we're all creating our own patterns within that and sort of sharing in everybody else's rhythms and sort of adjusting as we go around. Did you notice a change in people as they were playing over that time?
I could definitely see a difference between everybody coming in versus everybody going out.
Yeah.
Because I noticed everybody going out, like they were like more perked up. They were talking. They were happy.
Yeah. Yeah,
like everyone was coming in and it was like, oh, this looks like fun, but I'm kind of nervous. But
the hesitancy, that little, I don't know. Yeah. And then, but after enough yes anding, then there's that like sort of, you get light and load. You're a little chatty after you leave. Was anyone wondering about more improv or doing more improv after you were done?
There was a couple of people who was kind of who were asking me like, hey, are you going to be able to do this again? And I'd be like, well, I'd like to.
Yeah. To wrap us up, thank you so much for talking with me today, Alena, about, your improv history and also specifically your time with your workshop at Mindful Nashville and your work with Unscripted. But what is, and this is a big question, but what has improv meant to you at this point in life? That's, you answer that any way.
I always thought improv was definitely helped like build my confidence to make me easier to talk to people in general, and to just kind of I think I've gotten better at asking questions and doing prompts. So it's kind of helped me push a little bit further in my open life.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say. It's helped me with talking, like help me with a little more confidence. Like I can deal with problems a little more faster.
Yeah.
Because usually when a problem comes up at work, I usually start thinking like, okay, what's something that could probably fix this problem?
Yeah. And you've just been in the practice, like you went into the bar and you said, I'm in a bar now, and what's the problem in this bar? But you're just in your life and it's like, okay, what's the situation? What's the problem here? And you do a very similar thing. You just stay present with it and you provide your observations and what you can to it. Mm-hmm. Well, it has been so great getting to talk with you today. So great getting to know you as a person and an improviser over the past 2 years. I think it's been about 2 years of time.
Yeah, 2 years, yeah.
And I hope to keep seeing you around in the improv community.
Of course.
Well, Alena, have a good rest of your day.
You too. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Your small business needs a website. It just does. Even though everything has an app now, and every website drives you to an app, you still need a website, jerk. Make a website with Circle Void. We host websites. You need one. Get a website. I'm tired of telling you this. Build your own website on Circle Void, jerk. It's easy enough, even if you've never looked at a website because everything is an app now. Get your website already and build it on Circle Void or we're gonna have an issue. Use promo code JERK10 for 10% off your first website because you need one, jerk.
Circle Void.
Thanks, Brian, for joining and for a follow-up on this, because, I've learned a lot from Alena. I met Alena, as we figured out, about 2 years ago in one of my level 1 improv classes. And just to experience on my end, like seeing them perform and seeing them grow as an improviser and just as a person, and then just that conversation that we had, it's like, wow, what a 2-year journey that you can have with people through improv relationships. It's a special
absolutely.
thing.
Yeah, and you really get to know each other really well through improv more than any other collaborative art, I think.
Yeah.
Your real personality shines through really quick when you're under the spotlight and there's no time to think or prepare and you just got to go for it. And Alena, especially when I had her in my classes, was approaching all the improv games very pragmatically.
Yeah.
I would say, here, get up, do this. Here's a suggestion. This is how it works. And she'd just kind of blink, nod, and go, yeah, I get it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
With very little self-doubt or hesitancy. It was a beautiful thing to see.
It was self-doubt and hesitancy, a beautiful thing. We were talking a lot about how, in particular, when they get a location in their head, Alena can just go there and start finding the resources and things that are environment. It's like a very, it's a pragmatic approach, but it's also just like a full presence that is given to those circumstances and finding all the details in there.
It can delight a teacher. You and I have both had it as a student, and when you see that in a student, you're delighted. But isn't there, Mike, a part of you that thinks, how is that so easy?
Yeah.
She just immediately no problem.
Yep, no problem.
There's no second guessing.
Well, I think if I had to offer a guess, is that I have way too much ego to allow myself sometimes to have played like that, because the art form tells you just trust it, go with it, be present to it. Every time you pull out, that's the moments you're going to notice that your scenes are funking up and that you're not with the scene anymore. And it's just like, I can't get over the fact that while I'm doing improv, I want to make sure I'm doing it well.
Oh, our little inner critic just chirping away on our shoulders, just going, you're better than this. Why can't you be like Alena?
That choice? You made that choice?
Enjoy your drive home. Join me while staring at the ceiling.
That's a specific improviser's private hell is the ceiling, the night after a show.
Yes, we know intimately our ceiling fans. We know the tiles, the shapes in the clouds of our popcorn ceilings, whatever we may have.
And just the steps
specifically. And with that class that she taught, no doubt she's found others just like her with that ability just to jump in. She's pretty great.
And then I learned that their partner just took a class from me. Rachel was in my class, and Alena was saying about the workshop that it was about 5 or so people that last June. And any other details that you have about the sort of preparation process? I know she was saying that picking out games that they feel comfortable with was a part of the process, but then also figuring out, as you said, I could explain a game, but then I actually don't like playing the game. But then some games I like playing, but I couldn't figure out how to explain, and all those wonderful improv things that you got to figure out.
When working with Alena to prepare this workshop that she taught, when I worked with Backlight and trying to come up with improv games for them to play, it was just a buffet. Here's so many choices. And I emailed her a long list, and she goes, okay, I know that one, I know that one, I know that one. And they're great. And then we talked with them, and I exampled how to introduce them. And Alena would always crack me up. I would explain, this is how you do it. First, you ask for this suggestion, and then you have this people over here, and then you set it up that way, da-da-da. And she'd go, yeah, I got it.
Okay.
Great. Another option you could do is, da-da-da. And she was telling the absolute truth. Oh, she did. She got it. And that's kind of the way I went about it. And she seemed happy. And I would ask, are you, what I really, is that work for you? And she said, well, yes. But then understanding kind of how you can teach the audience what the show is from game to game. There's a progression of how much you ask from the audience. You want to kind of show them what improv is in the first game or two, warmed the audience up as well. And she's like, oh, no, that's great. So that was a neat little bit of education there with us. I have total trust in her.
Yeah, and they said that it did go very well, and there was interest by the end. And she also had the experience that we all have as improv instructors and people who've done any corporate workshop on an afternoon, where you get the reluctance at first, and then at the end, people are chatty and asking you where we do this more. So
yeah, pretty much. And improv, my goodness, it's a very fast track to ensemble trust. And that's what these workshop games are designed to do. How can we, with the shortest amount of time, teach this lesson of, if you give me a little bit of your trust, here's the bang for your buck?
Gosh, I'm trying to absorb it more, because I've been very fixated on this phenomenon all week because of a series of workshops that I had. I had like the quintessential, the picture of it. I had a group of people in the middle of a room in this conference room. And I was supposed to have about 20 people in my group. It was a big conference or whatever that they had Unscripted come in and do some improv workshops for. And then we divided into 4 smaller groups, and we had our instructors there. And so my group was assembling, and I was in the main room that we were in where everyone was meeting. And so it was kind of like a fluid kind of room, and I had to like have a makeshift my space in the middle of it to get the circle started. And I was trying to get everyone to circle up and come join me. And only about 10 of my 20 joined. Because the other 10 realized we're still in this ballroom area, that I can just look at my phone over here on the outskirts. They used the room to their advantage to not join the circle. But then I'm here in the middle of this room and forming this circle. And this circle is going through that journey and going through that bond and giving a little bit of trust and a little bit more. And then all of a sudden they're bought in by the end. And so we're just having this big fun circle in the middle. And all of those people who elected to not participate were just kind of like side-eyeing us, like from their phones, like looking up over time. And so, yeah, just like these little invitations, these stepping stones we have to get people to trust is fascinating.
I can still remember the hardest student I had. I don't know how much time you have, or if I'm rambling on. Where this one lady was, it was a corporate workshop, had about 60 or so in a big circle. That circle with 60 is as big as that room can handle.
Yeah.
And her body language, her eye rolling, her heavy sighing, her reluctance to stand from that very comfortable wooden chair was loud, very clear. And I started, and I have the choice of where to start in the circle. I was like, well, I'm going to give her about halfway. I'm going to give her about halfway, right? And then when it got to her, she did something. You may have seen this, Mike, in your things. She had all the physical outward behavior of someone who does not want to do this. I don't want to be here. Yet, every choice she made the spotlight on her as long as she could hold the spotlight on her. All she had to do was go zip.
Right. But everything, but yeah.
Sure, forgot what it was. Some very simple little arm movement, whoosh, whatever it was. And she paused it. She went, oh, I don't know how you guys, okay, how do we play again?
And I get that with kids a lot when I'm trying to do games like Zip, Zap, Dop, all those basic things. It's like, just pass it on and I'll leave you alone. But you don't want to do it. So every time it gets to you, you have to put on this performance of not wanting to do it. And then you are getting more attention. And clearly that is what you're seeking.
One thing I'd say is Alena specifically with her qualities, there is, and we kind of talked on this already, a lack of ego that you mentioned, and a full honesty. There's the word.
Yeah.
There's no mask.
No.
And it is such a quicker journey to get to where an improviser needs to be. If you can, as quickly as you can, take the mask off. Yeah. Be as open and as honest as you can. And the shows that I've hosted with her and Backlight, etc., I want to grab every one I can and say, look, this is how you do it. This is it. Ta-da. Yeah. It's that easy.
And I was telling her that something that she exhibits as an improviser that I want to tell to every long form team that I coach. And I don't know if you've noticed this, but Alena as a backline performer is exactly what you want. Because if you watch her, every scene that is happening on stage, whether she's in or not, she is laser invested in and watching the choices and watching like the things. And she even said that like she likes to make it a point to like try to use things from early in scenes that she hears other people do to try to add to that. And again, honor and affirm that information. But you could just watch her watch scenes in a way to where it's like she's participating in it because she is. We want all of our ensemble to treat every scene as important as the next, even if you're in it or not. That's how the health of the piece is gonna live and thrive. And she does that.
I mean, it was my pleasure to help her put that workshop together. But truth be told, it was going through a checklist. Like, yep, got it.
Yep, good.
Got it.
I'm good.
And as Alena, you got any questions? She's like, I'll hear something. All right, got it. Great. She's a wonderful.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Brian, for jumping on and giving a quick follow-up chat. How's your improv life these days?
Oh, golly. Tomorrow night, you know how it is. There's always something.
And this is Oddity? Is this Oddities?
Yes, Oddity. Yeah. Improv has shows downtown Franklin Theater at the every second Tuesday of the month.
Excellent. Second Tuesday. Fantastic. Well, we will check that out. Thank you for talking. And I, again, still want to get together sometime and talk Muppets with you, but the day will.
A couple hours.
Yeah, I need to make that time.
Yeah, great stuff.
All right. Thanks, Brian. Yeah, see ya.
Bye.
This has been another episode of Improv Saves, World Agrees. Make sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcast and follow at Unscripted Improv and at Improv Saves Podcast on social media. Improv Saves, World Agrees is hosted by Mike Garvin, produced by Christina Ashworth and Emma Sapika, edited by Cammie York, mixed and mastered by Dave Strumfeld. Thanks for listening, and be sure to join us for our next issue to find out who will agree next.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-da.